Hey guys, it's yours truly, and I just want to stop and say thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting the channel. It's been a while since I've actually posted a real video, but today we are getting into it. Today is something that I just decided I should just talk about it, but I should do it lightly as far as addressing the actual subject matter out of respect on so many different levels. And where this is coming from is basically it was mentioned to me in which I asked a couple of family members whom advised I should probably just leave the subject matter alone. And I was like, well, okay. And that was about a year and a half ago. I feel like I'm confident enough to talk about it in which it would not, I think if I tactfully mention the subject matter, will be okay. But let's get into it. We are going to talk about a haunted location outside of San Antonio based in Llano, Texas. I hope I'm pronunciating that correctly, but I am, a native of San Antonio. So it really, I specialize in San Antonio. So where is this going? We are talking about Babyhead Cemetery. And I am, like I said, paranormal stuff, yeah, okay, it's scary. The name is interesting, but it that wasn't really the whole primary concern. It was how this information was, provided to me, and when I asked about it, I consult with a couple of people, and it's kind of like a hush hush sort of situation, and I think it's really out of respect. I don't know. Like, it's really weird. I know that a lot of YouTubers have gone out there to do research and do whatever, but they're, some of them aren't even from Texas. So I think with fellow paranormal investigators, they have a lot more love and respect for the land. And I think if you were to send me out somewhere like New Jersey or something, I have no idea what the hell's going on there. But here, it's like you take a little bit of that to your heart, right? And I don't know. There's just, honestly, when I read this story, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem right um, on this subject matter. But we're going to get into it. And I'm going to tell you my personal account with someone who visited it. Wow. Okay. Sorry for this, but I just drank sweet tea and that's the effect. But you know, me having my passion for the urban legends of San Antonio, I think I might have just had the book published and I was kind of meeting people and it was really cool. And I had this particular man who was older. He was about like late 50s, early 60s, very on point, very very he was a gentleman, and he said, I have a real passion for like the urban legends. Thank you for doing what you do and being from San Antonio. And I was like, cool, okay. I'm a very conversational person. If you've met me in life, I can talk to somebody for 30-40 minutes and it's like 3 minutes, but nonetheless, right, I'm just like, well, cool. And he's just like, do you ever go out there, has anybody ever told you to like go anyplace? I was like, I really, don't do it normally because of the fact that, I've been advised not to. And I kind of go into that, and he's just like, well, if anybody ever tells you to go to Babyhead Cemetery, don't. And I was like, what is that? Babyhead Cemetery? And I think someone had mentioned it like once or twice before, I don't know, like before I wrote the book. And I was just like, I'm not gonna, like, I knew what I wanted in my book. Like, I'm not gonna add stuff that I'm not absolutely passionate about in my book. Like, and so I kind of just said, it sounds interesting, but maybe another time. And this man, he was very well kept. He, looked like he took care of himself. He was well spoken. And like when we got into it, where I kind of said, well, what is Babyhead Cemetery? And he's like, that place, he's like, is the real deal. And I'm like, he's like, I went there to tell my buddies I was going there. And he's like, just don't go. People will tell you to go to check it out, but there's something wrong with that place. And I was like, so I'm one of those people that I read people very well. I've been in customer service for a very long time. I, took some courses in psychology, a little bit from the hood. So you know how to read people. And so this man wasn't like patronizing me. He wasn't like challenging me, indirectly, or doing reverse psychology and trying to get me to go. He was trying to respectfully warn me not to go to this place. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. He's not trying to, I mean, I'm a saleswoman too. I used to be a saleswoman. And a very good one, mind you. So I can see when someone's trying to be persuasive. And this man was not. And I was just like, okay, so you want to talk about it? Like, so he tells me, he goes, mind you, I am an ex-Green Beret, honorable discharge. So we, know that I thanked him for his time in the military and serving. And he said, ex Green Beret, I went out there just to go tell my friends I went because they had told him to go. And he said he saw things that he didn't want to repeat, as far as kind of, I guess he had told somebody. He's like, I told them and it didn't sit right with them. And I was just like, for me, I'm just like, so you told somebody, and I guess based on what you're telling me, it's gonna mess me up on what you saw? Like, it traumatized you that bad? I'm still trying to, I'm a very visual person because I am an artist. And I was like, what the hell is he trying to tell me? And he's like, I won't describe it in words. It's just don't go. Like, people might try to challenge you or tell you to go, or you want ratings, but do not go there. He's like, I saw things that I could barely describe. And he's like, I swear, I cried like a baby at night. I cried myself to sleep. And like, mind you, I want you to feel this moment, right? I'm at a not so great convention. I don't remember what the hell I was at. Like, I think it was like one of the first or second times I was trying to sell my book. And, I had already met like 2 or 3 people, and it was cool. And when you get people like that, it gets interesting. It's hard to word, right? Like, you expect, people, I'm used to people telling me about the paranormal experiences that they kind of have gone through. And I'm like, but for me, being like an empath, like feeling what they feel, or trying to really sort of acknowledge and empathize with them, you're in a different place, a place where people are buying toys, doing this, doing that. There might be a celebrity here or there. It's really, you forget about all of that. All of it mutes, and it becomes a different sort of like environment. And it really kind of just, because I remember him, like, I got caught up in what he was like feeling. But I did remember catching some of like him trying to be careful on how he detailed it, of him telling me he like went over a fence to get in, and that he wound up like jumping one that he didn't think he could jump. And you're just like, all of this is happening. Like, it was a very, I guess, real experience for me to kind of have somebody share such an emotional experience of them, sharing that. Because I want you to stop and look at it from my perspective. I'm someone meeting people that say, I saw this, I saw that, and I'm like, wow, okay. Some people want that sort of acknowledgement. They want me to tell, stories and all of that. And that's great. It's great in sharing experience. And they're like, you're a storyteller. You can tell the story. But when you feel these kinds of situations where someone's saying, I want you to know I'm not crazy, and I saw things that I don't want to describe to you because it might mess you up. That is a whole different level where you have so much respect for this person who is sharing an experience like that, because it's terrifying. Like, I could only imagine, like, what this man saw. This ex-military Green Beret, who has probably seen many different battles, having to sleep. At the end of the day, when you think of the military, they're thinking about there and then, or here and now, because of the fact of what they went through. So, it was really just, and mind you, most guys are not going to just tell a random stranger, hey, I cried like a baby. And, there could be other people waiting in line for my book. I was not paying attention. I was completely tuning everything out. And it's terrifying to even think that people go out there and just take it for granted with who knows. And so we're going to get into this, this whole context of this particular subject matter, because I've read up on it. I'm Native American, and I have some lineage of German. So this particular place takes place in Llano, Texas. And they say that a pioneer, like, sort of family, was attacked by Native Americans. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm reading up on this, and they're stating that there was this toddler that was of the pioneer family, whose first name was Elizabeth, and that this toddler went missing, and they believe that the Native Americans had done it, decapitating her head and putting the head on a pike, like stake. When I read up on that, I don't know. It just, honestly, so I looked up some of the tribes, as far as that. So we have, apparently in Llano, Texas, there was, Native American wars going on. You had some Apaches, and then you had Tamawaks or Tamawanks. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to attempt to pronunciate it. My mistake if I have. And then possibly, I think, Comanche. I could be wrong on that. But nonetheless, I make it a habit. This is for Creepy Signal. I think I did talk about torture devices and terrible ways to die. I just have some problems with how they're saying Native Americans, perfectly decapitated a head and put it on a pike. If anything, that method of death sounds very European. I mean, wasn't there an impaler from Romania that loved to put heads on pikes? Native American people, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it. And maybe, at some point in time, there was a lot of issues going on with the land, right? We've got, aggressive Native Americans, you've got pioneering families, all these types of different feuds going on. But the problem is the method of death, on how they found the head of the child. It doesn't sound Native American. Usually, I mean, I could see them like tying like a body from a tree or something more of that type of signature. They're very much about the earth and different things. I mean, I know that, We go back into scalping and all of that, but that's a different sort of method. And so, I mean, that's one of the problems. And so I'm not saying, oh, this is all going to be like, I'm not trying to turn that narrative. I'm trying to say, I don't think it's what people want to call it. I think it could be a really haunted place of just pure evil. It's not about, oh, Germany, Germans pioneering here, and there's an issue with the land, and it's Native American. It's not any of that. People all want to have their 2 cents. People all want to be, they want to have this historic sort of theoretical, whatever. They just want to be published, right? With how many facts they could try to support and substantiate their thesis, right? Get out of here. It could be just pure evil. It could be just pure evil. The way people are telling me how haunted this thing is, when I ask family members that have taught me about the urban legends of San Antonio, they're like, just don't look into it. It's just a really bad thing. And I'm like, what the hell? I talk about the devil. What is going on? Am I taking crazy pills? Nobody wants to talk about this. I want to talk about it because I think it's really, really haunted. I think there's something really going on. And it's just, people are going to say it was Native Americans. But even if it was, them, or it was a European drifter who loved to put heads on pikes, it does not matter. There is something wrong with that property because they say they hear yelling or crying at night. There are things that full-grown ex-berets don't want to talk about. To a person like me, a person who eats supernatural stories like they're Lucky Charms every single morning. That is a problem. I don't think it's that. When I think of this particular location, all I can say is the ground is sour. That's all I can think. That's all I can just think. I mean, I don't think it was just that simple. People get beheaded all the time. Things like that don't just... Yeah, I get that, unfortunately, the child died. They had a name for the child. They tried to, do their best to honor, that child's, memory and things like that. I get it. But I don't think it's that. I think it's something else. I think it's something absolutely evil. And will anybody care to try to find out? I don't know. All I know is I'm going to tread lightly. Do maybe more research. I don't know. I've got other stuff to kind of like cover for you guys. But I thought I'd really get that off my chest because I see people just posting like not very like in-depth real narrative of this supernatural place. It's not a haunted attraction, okay guys? It's not Six Flags. It's not SeaWorld. That's my whole problem. It's a really evil place. I don't really know what could have potentially killed that child, but I don't think it was Native Americans. I don't even think it was the pioneers. I think it was something else. And I think we'll never probably find out. Because even if we tried to pursue it, those people would probably die. That's my 2 cents. It's a really bad place. Ex-beret people tell me, don't even want to describe what they saw. Family members are like, don't even mention it. So that is what I have for you guys. I just wanted to stop and thank you so much for watching this episode. More to come. I am finally back. Cutting this hair has just been a weight off my shoulders, if you will. So I will catch you guys later. Thank you for watching the channel.